Out on water plant design update, according to the agenda. Toward the end of January, we did a 90% review, updated and revised drawings in accordance with comments received at the 90% review meeting. The engineers did that. They completed the high service pump sizing, and I'm going to refer to that a little bit later on. We're waiting on the regulatory agencies, but now we have heard back from the regulatory agencies. The Licking County Building Code permit is finished, so that's ready to go. We have a verbal from the Ohio EPA on their looking at the plans and saying that everything's okay, so we're set there. One other item that we mentioned that we were talking about that we were going to do is when they put the new clarifier in, both clarifiers will be painted after the new one goes in, and then also the line side will also be painted too. On the high service pump project goals that was discussed about in the 90th during our meeting was that we demolish the old clear well and the three oldest high service pumps, and add 2 high service pumps in the newest pump building to replace them. We're going to firm up the service capacity of the plant after the project. Must be a minimum of at least 4 million gallons per day of operating, which the pumps have to be able to put that much out. And maximize pumping to the most distant reservoir from the water treatment plant. This reservoir is named Pine after the Pine Mission Center that's nearby there. Recommendations on the high service pumps using the water distribution computer model that we did earlier. The new pump capacities were determined by looking for the largest pumps that could be installed at the water treatment plant without exceeding any AWWA distribution system guidelines. These include a maximum velocity of 5 feet per second, and under emergency conditions such as fires, and maximum pressures in the system can go up to about 110 psi. So with these new high surface pumps,
and these are the pumps that are in that building where we sell the bulk water, up in front of it.
Right. There'll be two brand new additional pumps set in there. We have the capability of pressurizing the system up to 110 psi, which is AWWA standards. And we can force a lot more water throughout the system if we have a problem or a fire, or if we know about it, we can do whatever it takes in order to do that.
Hold on to the faucets in your house.
Yeah, we can do it. I don't have the capability. So basically, what we were kind of looking at, and these are actually a copy of the plans. We will be demoing, I'm going to hold them up here, these 3, the 2 older clarifiers, and the old clear well, which is up there. Then in its place, the old clarifier in 1998 was put in. There'll be a clarifier that will mirror that. And I don't know if it's easier to hold it down here and everybody can see a little better. And then here
should have had them put this on a PowerPoint for you.
Yeah, well, yeah, I was thinking about the PowerPoint, and then I ended up not doing it. So, but we'll have one next week. Anyway, here's the old high service pump building and the pumps that'll be taken out. And you're more than welcome to look at this. And this is a picture of the 2 new high service pumps and where they'll go at in the new building. And basically, that's all there is to it. Any questions on the update or anything about engineering for anything like that? Okay, to move along on the update on Franklin Avenue Waterline Pump Station, all the lines are completed. The pump station's completed. We've had training on the chlorine pump inside. We have also had training on the chlorine analyzer that's inside. We know what the chlorine levels are at that location at the pump building at the plant. It sends a chlorine level back to the plant so that we know what the chlorine levels are going to be going to the east side.
Change orders on the water line?
There was one change order and we took it out of our regular budget, and it didn't amount to much. It was something on the building. I can't remember. We put a ceiling.
Pretty minor.
Yeah, very minor. Very minor. One minute change orders. Anyway, we have variable frequency drive training on variable frequency drives inside the pump building. That'll take place Friday. Once that's been done, pump station's ready to go. We're waiting on also 2 man doors. I don't know if you've driven by there, but there's 2 temporary doors that have been put on. The new doors should be in here within the next week or 2. But once those are put on, then that completes that. And then, of course, we'll do our final grade in the spring. Everything on Franklin Avenue and at the pump station, reseed everything. Make sure everything looks nice. Other than that, that's about all there is on the update of Franklin Avenue water line. We're also looking, I'll go to enclosure of the distribution shed roof at the distribution building. We're thinking about possibly enclosing that building there so that they have a little bit more room. It's open now on 3 sides. So what we'll basically be able to do is there'll be 2 garage doors on the front, 2 garage doors on the back. I'm getting prices on that. If we can do that, and use it within our budget to do those improvements, we'll try to do that. We'll have to take a look at it to see where the prices come from.
Are you talking about the part that we built that kind of extends out over?
Yeah, 2 years ago we extended a
Yeah.
portion out and it was kind of like a shed roof.
Yeah.
And
That was to get some of the equipment and stuff out of the rain.
yeah. So now I think we kind of make that building look a little nicer and make it more worthwhile. I think, in the wintertime, the snow and stuff blows through there and everything. Maybe if we could it would just amount to closing one side in and then 2 doors on the front, 2 doors on the back, which I don't think is going to amount to a whole lot. So we are getting some pricing from different pole barn builders on what it would cost. I mean, if it's very expensive, of course we wouldn't do it, but if it's something that we think we could do.
Just cold, dry storage.
It's cold, dry storage. No. It's just keep the wind and stuff off the equipment. So, yeah, it's not really, it wouldn't be a heated building. So, it would probably be pretty reasonable, and I think it would be a pretty good asset if we decided to do that. But I'll keep you updated on that, let you know where the pricing and stuff comes in. Any questions on water? Okay, we'll move on to wastewater. We're talking, every year we replace the roof down to wastewater from an asphalt roof to a metal roof. And as the roofs age down there, we go ahead and install new roofs. So this year we were looking at putting a metal roof on the main garage where we house the vac truck, and there's about 2 or 3 other trucks in there too, isn't there? So we were going to replace the roof on that. Also, we have a generator down there. It was put in the mid-'80s that had a fiberglass enclosure. I had some roofing people come down and take a look at that. What they recommended doing with that enclosure is put like a rapid roof system on top of that, which is kind of like a rubberized roof. And they seem to think that would be the best fit for that because now it leaks. When we get a lot of snow or we get a lot of rain, it actually will come in on top of the generator and stuff. So I'm waiting to get prices back on the rapid roof system on that too. It's not a real big building, I don't look for it to be an expensive adventure, but that would be taken out of the maintenance of our budget. We installed the VFDs. I think I told you guys about, we were installing 3 VFDs. Those are variable frequency drives on the raw pumps. One went bad. We started looking at the age of the variable frequency drives and decided that we should go ahead and replace all 3 of them. So we're gonna go ahead and replace, those were already replaced. They're in service and they're currently working. We also are doing some work on raw pump number 2. We had sent that away, had it rebuilt, brought it back in. We were having some shim issues on how it's supposed to be shimmed in and so forth when we went to install it back in. We got that straightened out now, but what was kind of neat about it was that we found a crowbar inside the pump. Actually, was it actually inside the pump, Nick, or was it in the volute of the pump? So somehow that had flushed too, meanwhile, somewhere in the middle of that, so we pulled that apart. You guys actually had to burn the crowbar out.
Yeah.
We actually cut the crowbar in half and pulled it out. We get breaks, we get whatever anyone throws down sewer could possibly end up at the wastewater plant. People pop manholes all the time. We've seen basketballs physically in the manholes. We've seen shirts, clothes.
Billiard balls.
What's that?
Billiard balls.
Billiard balls. Nick can probably tell you more. We've even picked out spoons, knives, forks, anything that can go down the sewer. That's why, when we have a plug, we can do our best and try to maintain the system the best we can. But still, because it's an open system, we have the potential of a backup. Because people just do whatever they want to do.
You still get a lot of disposable diapers in this store.
I don't think they do, don't they?
Yeah. Big thing now is those wipes, those throwaway wipes. Those things, and they don't follow the grade, and they ball up.
I know one thing. Remember they were advertising on TV with those toilet bowl cleaners? That had like a thing on it, it was snap. And it had like a tuft on the end of it. And then they finally did end up doing away with those, didn't they?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah, but those things are horrible. You clean your toilet bowl and then you snap it off and then it goes down the.
So those would be snapped in the.
Yeah, because
And
I
the
use
trash.
those
Trash.
to stuff in the trash.
Yeah, well, people don't there.
That would be too hard.
So, but anyway, so we've been working on the pumps, maybe on the roll pumps. That seems to be keeping us busy for about the last week or so. Working on that. Lift station removal. I had a meeting with Scott Haynes with Jobs and Henderson, which is the engineers for doing away with the Fox Run lift station and also the Scioto lift station. What we're going to try to do is we're going to try to bid those 2 projects together. I don't know. Hopefully that'll be an advantage for us because maybe one company might want to bid both projects. Maybe because he's got the other project, maybe the other project may be a little cheaper because he's in town. I think it would be a good idea. I talked to Scott Haynes about it. He seemed to think it'd be a pretty good idea. So everything's pretty much finished up there. We're right on schedule with the water plant engineering. So the expected legislation process for the water plant and the wastewater lift station is we're shooting for approval from council to advertise for bids on March 4th. Advertising in the paper March 7th and 14th. And bid openings for both those projects on March 28th. of this coming month. And that leads me to legislative requests. Okay, first legislative request is an ordinance and directing the mayor to advertise for bids for the Heath wastewater lift station removal at Scioto and Fox Run lift stations according to specifications on file at the Heath City offices. That's the first one. Second one is an ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to advertise for bids for the Heath water treatment plant improvements according to specifications now on file at the Heath City offices. And then this third legislative request is money that was put in the budget, in the water fund budget, under vehicles. That's you guys already approved, but we still need an ordinance approving it. But it's a truck replacement for the distribution crew. It's replacing a 1998 pickup truck that's got 125,000 miles on it, and a lot more idle hours than that. But it's 15 years old. It's time to think about replacing it. An ordinance waiving competitive bidding, authorizing appropriation of $27,963.36 within the water fund. Also authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Matthews Ford of Heath, Ohio, to purchase one 2013 pickup S-Series truck according to state bids.
Hey, John, are
Yes,
those V10s, V8s, or V6s?
It's a V8. It's a V8.
What's the condition of,
Truck replacement.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's old,
They've
yeah,
had,
it's got miles.
they've had, it's
How's
had,
it doing?
they've had a lot of issues with it. John's had it in the service shop several times. It's just, these trucks reach a certain age. They got, like I said, it's got 125,000 miles on it. That's not a whole lot when you think about it. But being 15 years old, the body's starting to get some wear on it. It's starting to show visible signs of pretty bad rust on the one side. John's having some ignition issues with it. He's had it in and out of the shops a couple times.
Appleman's vehicle?
Yeah.
John Appleman's
This is
vehicle?
John Evans. So it's going to kind of be replaced with a truck that actually has a utility bed on the back of it, where when they go out on a break, they will have little compartments in side compartments, where John can keep all of his equipment and everything kind of organized.
What does he do right now?
I think it's thrown in the back of the pickup truck, and then we're searching for it, and it takes time. It's just not a good deal.
This is the vehicle that he takes home.
No, this is not the vehicle they got.
Oh,
This is another vehicle that they use at the distribution. It's a pickup truck, but the new pickup truck's going to have a utility bed on it, a reading utility bed. I went next door across the street. I don't know, when you guys get ready to leave here, Tri-County has a truck very similar to it when you're pulling out. They got several trucks are getting into the kind of heavy duty truck things. Well, if you look at the one, it's got little doors on it. It's got a utility bed on it. It's kind of nice. I think it'll help keep the crew a little more organized. Instead of just throwing stuff in the back, it'd be easier to keep tools and stuff clean, make repairs quicker and faster. I think it's going to be an advantage. The wastewater crew has something very similar to that right now, where they keep all their equipment inside. Collection system crew keeps like their camera and everything on the ground. If you've seen the truck, it's got the big cap on the back of it that they drive around. And they keep their camera and their different equipment in there, and everything's organized, and they have like tools and so forth. Well, I'm just trying to organize little things a little better for John. I think this is gonna give him the capability.
I can't believe distribution's worked that well in these years.
Well,
Just throwing it in back.
see, this is a problem they had. They used to do those kind of trucks. When Larry Brown, I don't know if you remember Larry Brown, had passed away not too long ago. He used to order a truck with that type of a reading bed on. And then when Tim Clark came in, he kind of phased that out and just went back to a regular pickup truck, which I don't think's worked out as well. Because, you know, if you needed a certain wrench or anything, or whatever you're working on, or the bands, or a generator, I mean, you can put, in these compartments, you can put all kinds of nice stuff.
I know when I worked excavating, we always had those utility bed trucks. It just, you just know which side of the truck to go on for what tool.
What tool,
Which
everything's-
box to get it out of.
Right.
It saves a lot of time.
I think this will help them out tremendously. So, Ace Body will put the reading bed on for them after the truck's ordered. The truck will be ordered without the bed, and then we'll have the body put on, like we do the dump trucks. We order in a dump truck, and the actual dump bed isn't on it. We take it to Ace Body, they install the truck.
Wow, idea of how much you're looking after the 27.9.
Yeah, it'll be about an additional $5,000 to $6,000, and that's all in the budget.
Will this vehicle be kept on the water department's premises?
Correct. It'll be,
It's not going home with it.
no, this is a utility truck. It's not going.
These all have locking doors on them, right? For
Yes.
vandalism.
Sure does. Everything stays locked up.
I think you
And
lock in the
this
building.
is not a truck that goes home with everything.
Those compartments have keep locked on.
Yes, it is.
Those locks get busted though. That's why I was asking if
They
this
can.
was the vehicle that John took home.
No, this is not.
So
John
it's
takes
gonna
home
be-
just a normal straight pickup truck, along with like day tank. Those
So
guys.
it's gonna be on this premises somewhere.
It'll be, well,
Down
you
there.
actually,
Distribution's down
Right
here.
down there, right?
that's correct.
It's down by, near
In-
Hoback.
Inside the building?
Inside the building. Yep. Okay, then I also have a couple legislative requests. One is an ordinance waiving competitive bidding, authorizing European mayors to allow the sale of an Allen Bradley 1336 plus 2 adjustable frequency AC drives for the wastewater plant. These are the variable frequency drives that we replaced, but they still might have some value as for parts to somebody. So this is allowing you to advertise on eBay or however you want to dispose of it and sell them. I talked to the electrician and installed the new variable frequency drives. There's no parts that we can utilize off of those that will interchange with the ones that we just put in there.
And wasn't that one reason why we changed all of them? Because we was having trouble getting parts.
Right.
So,
This is the
so
old,
someone that has those will want those spare parts.
we probably want these spare parts. So instead of just letting them set, we probably want to get the money back out of
Well, there's, bidonequipment.com.
it.
They got a lot of, they move a lot of stuff like that. I don't know if that helps. If you have any problem with the eBay.
Bid on equipment?
.com. Yeah, they're big on, if you take a look at it, they have VFDs on there, they have, I mean, just a multitude of things. They'll have
Keith usually handles that, and I'll definitely bring that up to him and tell him about that.
just in case, that might be
Sure.
one that you might not go as fast on eBay because it's more specific to
Yeah.
get the battery to the motor and what have you.
What fund is that coming out of?
Vehicles, I believe.
No, he's looking at Linda's
I'm
report.
looking at this.
It's not, this is not our budget. It would come under vehicles, that's in our normal budget. That's where when to put it.
Part of replacement, operating,
That's not even, this isn't in, it's not in there. These are your major funds.
I understand. Just where 30 grand's coming out.
When you go-
I mean, your budget, the budget's broken into line items.
Right.
Right.
When
But
you-
that money comes from a source.
One of these numbers, it's come out of one of these.
I think that's
numbers.
what
Is
he's
that what
asking. Yeah.
wherever they normally do vehicles. That's all I can tell you.
Okay, sorry.
No, I mean, that's fine, right? All I know is that the money was put in there under vehicles to replace that truck. I have a vehicle replacement schedule, and I can bring that in and let you look at it. But I try to replace a vehicle on a timeline. This vehicle's timeline was up, and I'm not saying,
If I had to guess, just a wild guess, I would say that it's out of the wastewater operating fund. I'm sorry,
Water.
Water.
But
Water.
you got a water
Yeah.
replacement fund, you got a water.
no,
improvement
you don't have
fund.
water
Water.
replacement. You have wastewater replacement.
You got water capital improvement, you got water operating.
Probably have water capital
I'm
improvement.
just trying to understand the definition of what falls under some of these asset acquisitions that we're talking about right here. Where by definition?
I bet it's under the
do they
water
fall under?
operating
It's-
fund.
I can find out for
Seems
you.
to be a little murky to me, so
Be more than glad to let you know.
Ask Linda.
just curious.
I think water capital improvement is more along the lines of the system, right?
Capital improvement is any capital improvement. I just don't know whether or not she considers a truck a capital improvement. I think in order to classify yourself as a capital improvement, it's gotta last for so many years. And I don't know if the truck, they consider that as a capital improvement,
Operating, maybe.
or if it may just be under the operating, but it's gotta come out of one of them two.
That's my guess. Since I-
Oh, $76,000 in that account. That's why. Cut it in half.
That money there is not taken out of that acquisition, the way I understand it. Because you have
Seems
thi-
unclear.
Okay, well, you have this, and then you have your regular budget. And I think this is what's left over after the budget has been approved, which you guys approved at the beginning of the year.
That's a cash flow. Right? Money going in, money going out.
Probably. Yeah.
That's why I'm
The
thinking.
money's,
it's- comes
money's
out of the
already,
operating fund.
the money's already came out. So that 76 you think is not being affected by that truck, because that's in another line item.
That was under capital improvement.
Water code.
I'm not trying to make a big deal out of it, I'm just trying, I mean, obviously,
All I'm saying,
I'm
Jeff-
asking a question, I'm getting 2 or 3
Yeah, if
different
you- yeah,
answers,
if you're-
so I know it's unclear.
Yeah, if you're looking for the money coming from the vehicle out of this sheet, it's not in here. It's in the regular budget sheet.
This is-
But your regular budget money still comes from the utility payments that people make, as does the money for those funds.
Which has been approved by you. But what he's saying is, he's looking at numbers on here and saying it's gonna cut these numbers,
Yeah.
and it's not.
Well,
Maybe that 215,000 that's under the expenses already, maybe that money's been put over.
Let me give you an example.
You know what I'm saying?
The line items that are in the street department,
Mm-hmm.
those little buckets of money
Mhm.
are filled by the big bucket, which is
Yeah.
the general fund.
Yeah.
What Jeff's asking is the little buckets of money that are the line items in the water budget, what big bucket is filling those little buckets? And that's why I'm saying, I think it's the water operating fund.
I'm sure it is the water operating fund.
661.
But that money's, this is what you have, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, you got $1.2 million in that account.
Yeah, but
Well,
way I understand it is this running total here is not your regular budget though. I don't know how to state it. What I'm saying is, you've already taken money out of these funds for this year,
To do his budget.
into this budget for me.
He's
for this
taking
year.
money out, put it in.
But
his
it's
budget.
still
It's already encumbered.
It may have came from here originally.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's not
That's a
here
full
now.
document.
That's what I'm-
Going in, those
yeah.
numbers change.
Okay, it may have came from here originally, but just saying, okay, you only got, I only see $70,000. Well, that's wrong if he's wanting to take another 27 out of that 70,000 because it's already been taken out,
Yeah, that's correct.
right?
Yes.
But that's a cash basis document, correct?
Yeah. But your budget's already out of that. Unless I misunderstand it, that's the way I
The
understand it.
line items in the budget, those appropriations.
Those little buckets that the mayor was talking about has already been taken out of those major funds here to operate this year.
And that's your monthly expense sheet.
Right.
on what is left.
Yes, what's left.
Which is no different than, as I said, really any other line item in any other department in the budget. It's just the source of the money is different. For water and wastewater, it's strictly utility payments that people make. For parts, streets, police, whatever, it's the tax revenue that we have.
I think the
This is
most,
my justification, capital improvement. I don't know what kind of depreciation schedule she's putting on this kind of a vehicle. The IRS allows, government allows, but I'm just trying to understand where it's coming from. That's all.
probably water operating fund.
I hope so.
Don't our tap fees and stuff go into the tap water capital?
It goes for capital, your tap fees or go into the capital improvements. That's why you don't see that.
We haven't had a lot of taps.
We haven't had a lot of taps.
Hey, John, what did you say, or did you say you're doing with the old truck?
We're gonna allow you to sell it or whatever.
Just sell
you
it,
wanna do.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
sell it, or if you wanna.
I wasn't sure if it was a trade-in thing or if it was just
Yeah,
selling.
no,
Okay,
it's not
okay.
trade-in.
Okay,
It's,
so you are gonna
whatever
sell it
the
separate.
city wants to do to sell it. They can either sell it at their auction, they can put it on eBay, they can do whatever they wanna do to sell it.
Okay.
But
I
it's
just
given,
wasn't sure if you
given
said
them
that.
permission to do what you want to do.
That's for the pumps and the truck and
Right.
the, okay.
Now,
No,
you
no,
know
no.
what?
The legislative request is just for the pumps.
Well, what's he
There's
doing
no
with the truck?
legislative request right now for the truck. We're not gonna put a legislative request forward to dispose of the truck until we have a new truck.
Okay, it wasn't, well, I guess what I was wondering is, when you buy the new truck, I wanna make sure, because it used to be, we always had a trade-in thing, if we weren't trading it in, then we kept it, and then later on we decided to do
I
something. just
think
wanna
we
make sure.
used to
I
trade,
didn't miss that.
we used to
Yeah.
trade them in, but then I think
We
we
got
found
more
out we
money
could
on
get
it.
more money if we
Right.
just sell it outright.
Right.
So,
That's why I wanna
Sell
make
it
sure,
in
I just wanna make sure if it was a trade-in or not, that's all I wanted to know.
but this is going ahead giving us permission to sell it when we get the new truck. Now, I can wait on that if you think it's too quick.
It does?
Yeah. Right here. So,
Are you getting the new truck, was a state bid truck, or where are you getting the truck from, or?
it's a state bid through Matthews.
Okay,
Ah.
okay.
I mean, I can wait on that.
No, no, no,
We don't
I
have
just-
to. I can wait. I just trying to get everything over with.
It does. Yeah, it is. An ordinance waiving competitive bidding, authorizing and directing the mayor to allow for the sale of 1998 Ford F-150 pickup for water distribution. Okay.
Well, we get the order, and it'll say like state bid and all that kind of stuff, 2 months before.
We're selling it.
Yes. Yeah.
You have the ability to sell it with that.
Basically, the bidding process is
We're ahead
eBay.
of the game.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, you know, I know buying vehicles isn't a real good deal. I mean, but the main thing is I think the most important thing to remember is, you know, when we have a main break and we have to get that water clamped or we have to do a repair as fast as we can, believe me, time is of the essence, and how we get to their equipment and get everything on that main break and get it finished up. If it's flowing in someone's yard, if it's flowing down the bank into someone's basement, whatever, however we can keep ourselves the most organized and be able to make these repairs and do the things that we have to do, we better be prepared. I don't wanna see a bunch of tools and thrown in the back of a truck or whatever. I want, when those guys hit that, I want them to know exactly where they gotta go, what they need, where their tools are, and that's why I think it's very important. And also, I don't wanna jump in a truck and have it not start or sputter on the way there or whatever. So I think we need to keep our vehicles up and make sure that, especially on the utility end, that when we arrive there, everything's ready to go. That's why I have an equipment replacement schedule, and I try to stay on that schedule.
Every 15 years, whether it needs it or not.
Every 15 years now. This is a 15-year-old truck, so it's time.
Improves efficiency. No question about it.
So anyway, this is no, it does not have to be waived. that these two here, allowing for bid, that I put in yellow. Just trying to stay on this schedule. If we can get, you know, we've already approved the bonding and so forth to do the water plant improvements. The money that will come out of Jeff to do away with the lift stations on Fox Run and Scioto will come out of the replacement fund that you see there, wastewater replacement fund. I think that's got like about $1.3 million in it. We're estimated this project to be somewhere between $300,000 to $400,000 to do away with these lift stations. So that's money that's set aside for replacement of equipment in the wastewater fund. So you know, that's what it's set aside for. So what we're doing is we're replacing the booster pumps with a gravity flow system that's better, and we're also keeping sewer from coming into a residential area in Fox Run, which if we have a backup or something from industrial waste going into a residential area, it could be pretty bad. So this kind of helps get rid of long-term maintenance costs, and also keeps us from liability problems down the road. So what we have here is we have the two bids. We have the truck, and we have the two to get rid of. One's to get rid of the variable frequency drive, and one's to get rid of the 1998 truck.
Those are.
They don't have to be waived or
Only
anything
waive
like
the
that.
first
No, or the truck, the new truck does not have to be waived. But the bidding should be waived the first reading, the second reading.
You mentioned that you were getting this from Matthews. We did a comparison between a Ford vehicle, a Chevy vehicle, a Dodge or whatever vehicle. We did a price comparison on these pickups. And
Well, what we do is when we go with the state bid, it's already been bid and priced through all that.
yeah.
So when you go to Ford,
No, I guess what I'm saying is, okay, so there's a state bid on the Ford pickup. There's another state bid on a Chevy pickup. There's another state bid on a Dodge pickup. Did we look at what those state bid prices are?
when the state bid is, it's whoever got the state bid, Ford got the bid on that truck. Ford did. For that
It's
side.
not a Chevy or a Dodge.
There's no Chevy.
Oh,
Ford
so
won.
if you want to buy a pickup truck,
It has to be a Ford
it has to be a Ford.
through state bid.
Ah,
Unless you
now.
want to do competitive.
Unless you want to
Unless you
do
go on your own and do
competitive
it.
bid. They've already, the state has already done that for us.
I see.
That's why.
Chevy and none of those competed what the price that
Yeah,
Ford
like
could
the
give them,
one-
so they're saying Ford's the one that's gonna.
If you notice at the
provide.
water plant, there's a GMC there and a truck. Well, the GMC won the competitive bid for that truck that year.
Okay.
Okay. Ford has a competitive bid this year, the way I understand how it works. I just kind of wanted to let you know, I was explaining that we were looking at that truck across the street. Now, there's $10,000 difference between Ford and that Dodge that we were looking at. Now, the reason why, one of the reasons is because that's a diesel, and we're looking at a V8. And the other reason is, it's all, it's just, but $10,000 is still quite a bit of money difference in just vehicles, so. But mainly, I think the cost is, and they're starting to get into more utility type trucks. And Dodge is trying to get into the bidding process too, so. But for this match right now, it doesn't seem like that's gonna work for us.
John, the truck over there is $10,000 more. Okay.
But yes,
Diesel.
but it's a diesel, and that's the reason why there's quite a bit of difference, because we're looking at 27 here. You're looking at 38 for that. Now that's already got the bed on it with the compartments, but what you're paying for is a diesel. And, I don't know. We didn't really budget for a diesel in the replacement of the truck.
exceeded my 40.
We didn't have any delinquent accounts? That's like the first
Everybody's
month,
up to snuff.
first in a long time.
It's been a while.
I know, every month, at least one or two.
You guys have any questions?
Yeah, you could have been on the list. You got your name in the paper.
6:10, meeting adjourned.